started out a new test while I was doing reviews. I said, how long can I make it into filming before my dog barks and interrupts the audio? So far, so good. Let's see how far this takes us. Here we go. Spontaneous was directed by Brian. That's how long it took. Spontaneous was directed by Brian Duffield in his directorial debut, although he has written for some movies before, like Underwater and The Babysitter on Netflix. Now, very quickly before I start this review, I would like to ask you all to subscribe if you've not subscribed yet. And I know I normally save that for the end of the review, but in this case I'm asking you at the beginning because I have a lot planned for this month. I'm doing some really fun stuff, and I'd like for you to see it. I'd like for more people to see it. So if you like this review and want to come back for more, please do subscribe. It'll mean the world to me. Without further ado, let's talk about this movie. And it's based on the young adult novel of the same name, where high school students in this one school start popping like zits. They just start exploding, and there's no real reason for it. It just seems to start happening. There's no explanations, and in the middle of all this is a girl named Mara, played by Katherine Langford, who is just trying to live her life and navigate her way through until she meets a boy named Dylan, who she's been in class with for the longest time, who tells her, I've had a crush on you for a very, very long time. And given the things that are happening right now, I felt like I should tell you. So while there are times when this movie is a horror movie and there's some gory stuff that happens in it and people explode in front of you, this is also a romantic comedy with a very charming love story which is told in it. And I found this movie to be extremely endearing. I really love this movie. Right out of the gate, the performances are really great. It's not just the two leads, but really everybody in it is great. But since the movie focuses on Katherine Langford and Charlie Plummer for a lot of it, they both do an absolutely brilliant job, and they have excellent chemistry from start to finish. This movie kind of reminded me of like a John Green novel, like The Fault in Our Stars, but imagine The Fault in Our Stars had this kind of like explosive twist to it. Like everybody just explodes. There's a very charming romance to it, and I think Duffield really landed that beautifully. The scenes with them where they go on these little dates and they start to get to know one another and they do these lovely little things for one another was really sweet, and I was very taken by the romance that was on display. That's not to say that the more crazy horror-like sequences where people just explode out of nowhere are not entertaining. They're really entertaining. They're wonderfully done. In fact, in one scene in a school corridor, it's particularly pretty like intense and scary, and Duffield captured that very well as well. This is a very briskly edited film. There's a lot of really great snappy dialogue, and it doesn't exaggerate a lot. This actually does feel like high school. Very high school-like in some ways. In fact, some things are brought up regarding rumors and stuff. I said, oh yeah, that sounds familiar. That's exactly how rumors spread in my high school too. So there is some familiarity there. I think one of the biggest strengths, like I said, though, it just plays to the factors on display, which are just the acting, the writing, the direction, and the editing, the score, which is also really, really great. I think this is just a really charming movie, and one that I think you should check out if you get a chance to. I mean, given the way the year has been going, this is kind of a nice, charming movie. It's a nice sort of palate cleanser. Now, of course, I'm not gonna just judge it on the way like, oh, it's nice, you gotta just take a break from the real stuff that's going on. This is just a genuinely good movie too, and one that I highly recommend watching if you've not seen it yet. My only thing is I think at times it did meander a little bit. I think it committed to the tone wonderfully. I think it had a really well told film from start to finish, but I think at some points it could have been a little stronger in terms of scene connections. I just think it was meandered just ever so slightly at the halfway point. Aside from that, I had absolutely no complaints with this movie, even when it gets much darker as it progresses. No spoilers, but things do get a little bit intense, and I don't want to spoil anything because if you've not seen it, I don't want to ruin it. I'm going to give Spontaneous a 9 out of 10. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Look forward to more reviews very soon. I have Haunting of Bly Manor, The Boys Season 2, Star Wars Squadrons, which I played, and a couple of horror things coming up. Lots to talk about, lots to explore. You guys are the best. Please do subscribe if you haven't yet, guys. It'll mean the absolute world. And as always, if you like this, I'll see you guys at the movies.